Picture me rolling up all the swag, down that ass, tags and body bag. Believers, we still the truth. The plane is flat, we got hell of a proof. Try and disprove the spiritual answers. Yes, I feel the rap and unify Black Panthers. All we fucking do is bring the facts. Sample of the third world is always flat. Southern crews are ready and fat. Cause oceans world, something wrong with that. Told your ass once, I'ma say it again. Motherfucker, surface of water, don't bathe. Call me Madonna, make it do what it do. I made it do what it did, bro, so that's what it do. Gravitation, spirit, masturbation, I guess that's why it falls blue. The point in running, you so can't hide. Might as well sit back and enjoy the ride. This flat food, fat is hot as vibe. Wouldn't be surprised, no, next to the cold side. What would you do if the world was flat and these cowards conspire to hold us back? Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, fight for that ass. What does it take to realize this world is out of the sphere? Ain't no motherfucking ballers here. Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, fight for that ass. What would you do if the world was flat and these cowards conspire to hold us back? Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, fight for that ass. What does it take to realize this world is out of the sphere? Ain't no motherfucking ballers here. Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, fight for that ass. Black power on that ass, toe tags and body bags. Black power on that ass, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, fight for that ass.
What is up, everyone? Damn, it's been too damn long.
What's up? What's up, brother? That was glitchy as hell.
Shit, my bad. Make sure you guys go and check out Red MIDAS. Got that beats. I didn't know. Had no clue you had it, man. No clue you had it in you.
Yeah, you know, every now and then.
That was more surprising than when Bro Sanchez did his.
Oh, word?
Like, you just, yeah, like, real shit. Like, I saw that shit and I was like, oh, shit. Wait. And he's making his own video? That is badass.
Not bad for my second one, even though the time, actually, believe it or not, like when I did it, the timing was perfect. When I uploaded it, then it's like, it just doesn't play the same as the actual, whatever. But it's cool though. I'll be doing some more eventually. It was fun.
Man, I'm gonna tell you now, that shit got me excited. Your promo, your intro thing, and those beats, it's got me excited for when you start streaming.
Yeah, I'll get there sooner or later. Sooner or later.
You need to just start uploading all the ones you do, all those the time you get on the panel.
Yeah,
start uploading those to yours.
I gotta download them first to upload them. I think is how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I'm
still on the side. I'll show you an easy way to do that.
Yeah, because I'm still trying to learn how to get around this computer a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of one of the reasons why I've been on like hiatus for the past week or so.
Hey, I called it your fasting. I was like, damn, I haven't heard fucking Dre eat online in a minute.
Yeah, but you know what? It's cool to fast every now and then, and not do that, get on panels. I mean, for a minute I was on panels, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, this is a lot of time I'm spending on panels. I could be using this time to do other things or whatever. So that's when I kind of really pumped my brakes. and fell back.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. Because I thought, I was like, I start getting back on panels because fucking what's happening is no one's hearing me. Like, if I don't go online, if I don't go live, and no, and I don't go on panels, no one even knows I'm around.
Right.
So I was like, man, I gotta start getting back on panels, get on, and then the panels I wanted to get on, the topic, wasn't quite the same idea I had. So I was like, I don't want to jump on other people's panels and be trying to dispute what they're saying. So I kind of sat back myself.
Panels are definitely good, especially like for me in particular, just to kind of like spread the wings a little bit, get established, so people will know that they can come to the page or whatever, check it out. So
Yeah,
other than actually building and being exposed to new ideas and stuff like that, and sharing ideas with people, it's more of a it's like a tool.
yeah, exactly.
It's a multifaceted tool.
Well, I mean, granted, the one upside to it is I mean, if you guys saw my because I take notes, you saw I've had to go buy 3 more notebooks. I mean, I've been listening to everyone's stream, so I got a lot of ideas of researches and all that good stuff. Here's a good thing, that great debate community that I'm part of, that on Google Plus. They have a lot of smart dudes on there. So right now I'm kind of networking, trying to find someone that really knows nanotechnology, and so I can do like a fucking interview, and you know what I mean. It's just like someone who's like in it, not just someone who's researching. Because let's keep it real, I'd have to do years of research to catch up to someone who actually does it and all that kind of stuff. So that's my goal right now. I'm networking. I want to try to find some the professionals of industries and try to start having them on. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Candy? How you doing?
Candy, how you doing, Candy?
Let me get you.
Definitely a major plus when you can incorporate professional for sure.
What's one? Because I was waiting for a notification and I never got one.
I don't know. I have no idea why. A few people told me the notification thing was happening like that. Hopefully, if everyone starts sharing it, then maybe we'll get out there a little better in the chat. Yeah, but yeah, we're just talking about networking, and what I want to do is of an industry on and having like interviews so they can talk about it rather than the holes in my research that I have. But other than that, well, what have you been up to, Candy?
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, Dre, what was I saying? Yeah, me and Dre were talking about just a little while ago about we got started going in. That we needed to stop and go about
the gravity.
Talking about the light, basically the whole Einstein theory of relativity and special theory. They actually had to make a special theory to make his first theory.
Yeah.
Was yeah, because when I was looking into it, I was like, I'm gonna tell you now, I probably did 3-4 days worth of research before I realized about the whole special theory of relativity, which I found, fix all the, like, it basically takes all the holes in the theory and fills them in so you can't debunk it or try not to debunk it.
It's like a builder. It's like a workaround. It's a workaround the problems presented with the fact that they can't prove something. So they came up with a workaround in order to make it work.
Exactly. Yeah. And in doing that research is when I started finding. So, a lot of people, we all watch Sun and Moon Group Family. And she has a FPV on a lot. And he does a lot of those, the presentations with the designs and stuff on Earth and all that kind of stuff. I never really understood what he was talking about
FPV's
at all. Yeah, he is. So then I was doing some more research, and thank you to Billy Sanchez, who sent me a link to a video, basically talking about basically the quantum theory, and I'm trying to find the title of it so I don't destroy. Okay, here we go. It's basically the fractal, multidimensional nature of reality. It actually makes more sense than all those other crap theories you hear about that explain gravity and all that kind of stuff. Do you remember a while ago I was talking about gravitational monopoles and electrical monopoles and and there not being a magnetic monopole and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it basically touches on all of that stuff because it was pretty crazy. It makes more sense to me that what it's called is a magnetic field, magnetic field spectrum, which is basically everything makes more sense about it. The only way it happens, the whole nine. I got pictures. I just got to find them. When it comes down to the speed of light and gravity, the fact that they had to make these special theories to make this work shows me that they had to do a lot of thinking to figure out how to make their bullshit work. The worst part is they did all this shit before technology we have now was even thought of yet. And that's the one that really gets me off.
Think about it. I mean, they literally did all this stuff before they. Well, I don't know if this is accurate to say, but according to how it's given to us, they actually formulated all these things before they were even high enough in the air to confirm or deny it was a sphere that we know it isn't. You know what I mean? So it's like they developed all this stuff before they even presented the sphere.
Exactly. And then the fact that instead of throwing out Einstein's theories, Newton's, all these guys' theories, they just piggyback them. And piggybacking them, made up everything.
Yep. And if it didn't work, just create a new equation that'll make it work. And if it doesn't
exactly.
work, create another equation to make it work. And if
That's
it doesn't
what Tesla
work,
said was going to happen
create
too.
another equation to make it work.
Yeah. See, like you were saying, Candy, just now, Tesla. That's what Tesla was saying. The problem with what he was saying is 100% right, but the problem with what he's saying is we're doing the same thing with Tesla's technology and theories as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because he stated, because we're using a lot of the stuff that's happening now and saying, oh, well, Tesla said that too. But the problem is Tesla was before we were using nuclear power. Tesla was before all these other things were going on. So I think what we have a habit of doing is that I call it the Notre Dame effect, where you take something someone said and you figure out a way to patch it into now. You know what I mean? Because Notre Dame didn't go, you're going to fly planes into a building. But, to say something bad's going to happen and it'll create a world of wars. It's like, well,
it's like a
make
parable
that from
that can
anything
be
almost.
explained by pretty much anything that happens.
Exactly. And I don't think it's wrong to do, to go, oh, look, that guy, but the problem is I think we take it so much for granted that it's happening, and we just throw everything that's happening into exactly what one person says, and it kind of throws all the information, the real information off. Then the reason I'm saying that is because like the speed of light, I've now realized is the biggest joke in the world. What happens is a group will fall into that idea, have enough power, that becomes the idea, and they run with it, regardless of everything around it.
Right, because people don't even realize that light doesn't even have a constant speed. There's no, that's, I mean, it's like taking a turtle and a rabbit and saying that they go the same speed. There's different frequencies.
Yeah, so that to me is probably the biggest joke of it all. So the people that don't understand what we're talking about for that sense, basically when they decide, or when Einstein was going, how am I going to make this work? He realized that basically light that doesn't travel, light that, we'll say light that goes from A to B, from A to B to C to D, as it travels from a distance, obviously, personally, I don't see how in hell they could go the same speed or be traveling in the same speed. But the way he described it is basically in the same time, no matter what, which is complete bullshit to me. We're trying to find a thing else that I'm talking about. It doesn't make any sense. That's like saying if I'm running at full speed, but then I have to go around stuff at full speed, no matter what, I'll end up at the end point at the same time, which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no matter how you think about it. Trying to find it. Apologize, because I wrote down something about it that made so little sense that it pissed me off. Like it's ridiculous. Where is it?
That's what I was saying yesterday. It's like looking back at things now and seeing how blatantly, obviously stupid it sounds. How were so many, I mean, all of us, we were tricked for so long, and like we didn't never second guess it ever, no matter how ridiculous it sounded or looked.
Well, here's the problem with that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, that's, because they've been pretty much dumping that crap in your lap since day one, so you don't even think to look beyond it because you just accept it for, the truth. But, the more we start to see that, whether it's government or, elites, whatever you want to call them, how shady they are, now people are starting to wake up and look into it, and now it's becoming more apparent. So, because I do the same thing. I look back on it and I'm like, man, how could I have been so stupid for like 35 years of my life, and just didn't even question these things until someone brought it to my attention. And then when somebody brings one thing to your attention like that, and it's so blatantly wrong, you can't help but look at everything else on that level.
It's like a switch.
Yeah, it's like a switch. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Exactly. I apologize to cut you guys off real quick, but what's up, Danny?
Hey, Danny.
Everyone know Danny is on the panel now. How you doing, man? You're muted right now.
I realized.
I've been messing with some stuff. Nice to be around. Yeah, I had some crazy ass shit going on with my computer. My audio device drive decided to delete itself, so I've been working on that for some reason. Yet I'm using it. I don't get it.
All right, no worries.
It's gravity.
Right? I think gravity is doing it. Always causing problems.
Last night I realized, I mean, I already knew how deep the indoctrination is, but it was just kind of a little bit of perspective last night. I was playing, I'm not a gamer, but I was playing Fallout 4 last night. And like when the game starts, you're like in your house, and the only decoration that was in the house was a globe. I was like, I took a picture of it. You gotta be kidding me. And so then after like the nuclear thing happened, I went back to my house in the game, and the globe was laying on the ground, so I started shooting it up. Like,
well,
I was on a live stream. They were like, "You're gonna waste all your bullets. Stop!" I was like, "Oh, I don't have enough unlimited. I didn't know how to play the game."
Okay, so what I think the problem is not that we're bro, you shouldn't be upset that we didn't know this from the beginning, because you also got to know the information and technology is also the reason we're able to figure all these things out. So 40 years ago, how would anybody have even a remote chance to realize half the shit they're saying to us is complete bullcrap?
Right. That's another reason why I think this is a controlled leak, because it's they can't hide it anymore. I mean, it's impossible.
I don't think that they can. I don't think that they can control the leak, so to speak. I think that the information is something that they can't stop. They can try to slow it down, maybe, or tweak it and twist it and whatever else the case may be. But I don't think that they have the ability to stop the information from coming out.
Yeah, I think what happened was is when the internet came out, I believe that they thought they'd be able to use it, to get information, also to find out what people are looking up and where they are through IPs and all that stuff. I don't think they realized once the internet came out that instead of just trying to find out simple stuff or communicate with loved ones across the country, I don't think they thought we would instantly start looking up their shit and calling them out on it. I mean, I think all that was they were blindsided by it. When we were like,
because they weren't like. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, with like the Hillary Clinton stuff coming out, WikiLeaks, all those things, I don't think they were ready for it. I don't think they were prepared. I don't think they set up safety blocks for it at all.
Yeah, I don't think it was in their plans ahead that people would, have YouTube channels where they're just constantly watching, or not even YouTube channels, but somebody recording their launches and just analyzing it, or you know what I mean? I don't think that they thought that far ahead.
They probably felt like we were still in, everybody was in like entertainment mode. The internet is only used for entertainment. People aren't going to use it for, educational purposes because we've got our thumbs down on them so bad. And to a large degree, it's true. For the vast majority of people, that's what they look at the internet as a tool for, like, entertainment and whatever else. And like you said, I don't think that they necessarily realized that it was going to be used to basically dissect all their bullshit, because that's what's going down. And the only thing that they can really do to combat it, as far as I'm concerned, is create these algorithms that redirect you or shut you down in some way where you can't, put the information out. Other than that, they can't stop it. I don't think they can stop it at all. They can just try to manipulate the information and, pad it or hide it within bullshit. That's about all they could do. We just have to be smart enough to discern the truth from the bullshit.
He was trying to add moderator, huh?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I've done that before.
All right, there she goes. I got her modded. Yeah, yeah, definitely, Dre. I don't think, and I think once they realize that, I think that's why they would, everything they did from, let's say, 10 years ago till now is all about being able to store everything we're doing. As in, to Big
Data
Brother us,
collection.
basically. Say again?
Absolutely. Data collection.
Yes. Yeah, and it's, to me, it doesn't make sense for a government to spend all that time just to store in what we're doing. Like, for instance, they're storing and saving this right now as we speak, as we type. Everything is being stored. Makes zero sense to me productively, unless they thought they needed to do it because they realized the fuck up they had.
It could be, I mean, this is, and I kind of hate to think like this, but this is a possibility, at least in my mind, as far as the data collection. At some point, that information could be used against us. You know, at some point, if they wanted to really, you know, like get it popping. I'm not saying they will, not saying they won't, but if they really wanted to, I mean, they could pretty much basically go around and round up everybody that they felt was speaking things that they didn't want to be spoken about just by, you know, this data that they have access to. They can tell what we've all been talking about. They can tell what we've been visiting, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's one purpose that it could serve. Not to say that it is for that purpose, but if they really, really wanted to kind of like, you know, put an end to it, it would be as simple as pulling the electric, you know, so, but I don't, for some reason, I just don't think that they can do that.
Yeah, I asked Karen, I was with Karen yesterday, and I was like, dude, you ever think about like what would happen to the world if the plug got pulled on all communications? All of a sudden, just done. Like, so many of us only communicate using some type of long distance thing, you know?
See,
Man,
now,
I think
oh, I'm
it
sorry.
would be bad. No, I was just saying it would be bad. Like, people would go crazy. They don't have a life. Nobody has a life anymore.
Well, that could be a part of the setup. You know, it's like, you know, you get 2 or 3 generations addicted to technology, and then you pull the rug from under them, and then society goes to instant shit because
it
nobody's
wouldn't
got
be
it.
considered. You gotta remember, it wouldn't be considered addicted. We need it. We have to have it. It's not an addiction.
Well, I
You know,
mean, well, yeah, when you have
watching YouTube videos can be an addiction, but if, like what you guys are saying, and the internet completely was gone, the anarchy. Period. There's no. I
how,
mean, banking,
I
everything.
see. Listen, I don't think that they would. I don't think that they would get rid of the internet. They're not. If they do something, they're not going to do that because that's something that they have to, you know, come up with a reason why it happened. Because the world would be in uproar. They, if anything, they're going to pull the electric, and they could use something like, oh, it was an EMP that destroyed the electrical grid, and then that's the way that they
They
destroyed.
can use the same excuse for the internet, though. I mean,
No, but I see what
either
Dre.
one would be the same
No, I see what.
severity.
Well, no,
Well,
not
see,
to a point because, like Dre was saying, if it was just the internet, we still have phones, we still have TV,
right? You
we
still,
still have radio. But if you pulled the electrical grid,
You don't even have internet anyway, so
have
you
it,
have nothing,
yeah,
right?
it kills all of the stones. Yeah.
And but see,
Um,
that's the thing though. Society has gotten to the point where we become dependent on the technology, but all the technology is electronic. It's based in electronics. All they got to do is literally kill the power, and everything would go to shit, literally. And I think they know that. But in my mind, whether it's actually accurate or not, I think that they have to allow the information to be disclosed for whatever reason. I think that they understand that they have to allow the information to be disclosed. Um, you know, whether that's like a natural law or whatever, you know, whatever. I'm not even going to get into all that stuff. I don't want to screw it up, but I think that it's kind of like the free will thing. You can only have free will when you're exposed to all the information. Whether you can decipher the information or not is irrelevant. As long as they disclose the information, it's like they kind of like absolve themselves of any kind of you know, responsibility. So what if the internet, that it, you know, the way that we use it nowadays, once it gets to you know, a certain point where it's like, okay, all the information is out there, and you know, it's been out there for however long, and then they pull the plug. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I don't know. I just think that they can't stop the information from getting out. But at some point, I think they're going to kill it. I think they're going to kill the electric.
See, that's one thing I have a hard time trying to figure out. Why would the government have have to tell us what's going on?
Because they
Now, and we've all heard about that, but it doesn't make sense.
sure it does. Think about all the stuff that they do and how it's tied directly back into, whether it's ancient cosmology and excuse me, whether it's ancient cosmology or just the natural way that the world is supposed to work. Like they understand all this stuff, and free will has something to do with that. And it's kind of like one of those things where, for instance, like they put information in the movies. Most people take it as entertainment, when in actuality, a lot of the times they're telling you some real shit. You just can't decipher it, or you don't know no better because you think it's entertainment.
But that's what I mean. What? So, well, just as an example, let's say me and you decide to do something. Why would we have to put that information out somehow before we did it?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be before we did it. It just means that according to whatever these ultimate laws are, whatever you want to call them, because the laws that man create aren't real laws. As far as when I say laws, I mean natural laws. And to me, like the disclosure of the truth is one of those things. I just think that that's something that they can't hide from us. And if that were the case, why would they put this information in the movies? They're not doing it just to rub it in our face. It's almost like they have to disclose the information in order to keep themselves from being on the hook. This is where the free will comes into play to me. As long as they tell us what they're doing, they don't have to pay consequences for the crap that they do to us, because they're giving us the information, and then through our own free will, we do whatever we do. But it just happens to be a detriment to us because we don't understand what we're participating in. Where the people that so-called run the show, they understand what the system is and how it works. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that they have to disclose that information, to me, it's because they understand through, whether it's natural law, the creator, whatever the case may be, all this stuff that they know that they don't tell us, to me is just, like I said, it's just one of those things where it's that, that free will thing where they have to disclose it, and they do it through things like the media, not the media, like movies and shit like that. If we figure it out, we figure it out. If we don't, we don't. But I just feel like once that information is completely released, so to speak, then they can pretty much pull the plug. I'm not saying that they will, but I'm just saying it's just a hypothesis that they could release that information through the internet. Okay, all the information's out there, and now that they want to get it popping, pull the plug. Nobody's got electric. Whatever. World gives a shit.
Okay, I see. Almost kind of like, and it just popped in my head. Maybe they have to do it so, say something happens to other countries, for instance, like that are involved in the Antarctic Treaty, can't be blamed for something. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, even that too. But like, think about it, even with all these countries that are part of the Antarctic Treaty, these countries that participate in that, they have to be aware of something that obviously the average person isn't aware of, and whatever it is, it has to be extremely powerful enough that all these countries that constantly are fighting amongst each other's back and forth, whatever the case may be, from what we see, you got all these different countries that are always at each other's throats, this, that, and the other, but yet all of these countries are part of a collective. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the big picture that they operate on. What exactly that is, we don't necessarily know, but whatever it is, it's powerful enough that they have yet to break that treaty, and odds are they never will.
And here's something great. So I was talking to I forget who it was. Somebody, it was a Glober. There's actually a private group, I think, and they were saying, well, if the world is flat and all these countries are part of the treaty. And I think we were talking about North Korea, and they were saying, and you go, well, how come North Korea doesn't, tell everybody? And I was thinking about that, and it took me a while to really put two and two together. The realization that of how big the internet actually is, you can look at how North Korea is set up and understand how important it is. So North Korea has an internet, but it's 100% controlled by the government, which means there's only a few sites they can actually use. There's only limited things they could upload, and they can't send out across the country. So how does a country tell people what's really going on if they can't? For instance, the Taliban are the terrorists, basically. They're not the ones who told us what was going on in Iraq or in Afghanistan. The internet was. The people that came back were. So for a group to out a country, it's not just a simple get online and tell people. You know what I mean? It's definitely regulated. I believe that even our internet is so regulated that we don't even realize it.
How so?
You
mean when you say
for the same?
Do you mean censored?
So for the same? Yeah, no, regulated, as in there's an internet. So the dark web.
Okay.
There, in my opinion, I believe there is a government dark web, not a dark web where they just do stuff and other people are doing, like internet that only these people can use.
Can access, right? I got you.
Exactly.
I can see that happening, absolutely.
Because if that was, it has to be, because if not, everything they're doing is being data stored as well.
Yeah.
Hold it for a second. I gotta restart my computer. I'll be right back.
All right.
I mean, even the stuff that they're doing, whether it's stored or not, I don't think that's. They don't give a crap.
Well, they have to, because think about it.
But if nobody can access it other than those people on that level, they don't give a crap. Nobody's hacking into that system.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
even this, we'll use like documents they have. There's classified, there's non-classified, there's top secret. There's also other levels above that. They have stuff that you can't put on as record because it is so
yeah, like have you ever heard of the
sensitive
12 type? Yeah,
exactly.
Right. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Sure. I definitely believe there's unseen factions that use the internet in a capacity that we can't even begin to fathom. I mean, as far as and it could be basically a part of the system that we use. We just maybe we're on a different bandwidth. They could be operating on the same system, different bandwidth, where we just have no access whatsoever to that information.
Exactly. Because if you really think about it, the dark web and all those, they're so simple to get on that in my brain there has to be
darker.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the throwaway, kind of like the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds, in my opinion, are the family that they just kind of put out there to keep you off target of the real big fish. So
exactly.
The dark net that they give you access to, or the one that you can access, is probably like the throwaway to keep you off the trail of the real deal.
Exactly. Yeah, because I was thinking about that as well. Like when you go into Rothschilds, just because you have ungodly amount of money and like they're able to control the stocks, go up and down at their will. They're the ones who actually do decide what goes up and down in stocks and the value of gold, the whole nine. It's just how it works. But the thing is, I don't think they're running the world or our decision, or the government's decisions to invade. I just don't think
The Rothschilds?
for yeah.
Oh no,
I don't think for any
I
reason.
don't think so.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't, because there are people that believe that those families control what happens in the world. Now, they do control a lot of things when it comes to stocks, gold, value of stuff, but I don't think anyone's has their finger over the red button waiting for the Rothschilds to give the call. You know what I mean?
Somebody just posted a link in the chat.
To me, the Rothschilds are the equivalent of a bulletproof vest. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If that makes any
Yes.
sense.
100%, yes. At the same time, I don't think like you were just saying, I don't think the Rothschilds or the builder, like I don't think any of them really have any power when it really comes down to it.
I think they do. I don't know if you
Like,
straight up.
where to me, yeah, just hang on. Yeah, I can't do that link right now because I will glitch out. Hang on.
See, I kind of think that as far as like the Rothschilds or the Bilderbergers, like those groups and all these people or whatever, I think that they definitely have power, but they don't have absolute power. Meaning, for instance, like if you have the CEO of a company and then you have like the vice president of that company, they might be the equivalent of like maybe a vice president or slightly under a vice president. Like they have power to make moves and to do things, but at the end of the day, it's something that is probably cleared with whatever families really run the show.
We also got to remember, above the CEO are the investors.
True that. But if these people already basically own everything and actually create the money that people are investing in, technically they are, they're the holders. They don't really need investors because they're the ones that are like literally the puppet masters. They're the one pulling the strings of, everyone else.
Actually, when you think about it, we have to put this into effect. Are, so to speak, like you were saying, the bulletproof vests of a company. Mm-hmm. The reason, so the Rothschilds, they have all the money in the world. The problem is if they went all in, no investors, something happens, they have to risk losing that money. So realistically, the investors are only so that if shit hits the fan, they're not out completely.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was just kind of like a brain fart thought I just had, realizing that investors, why they're investors. It's like, for instance, why Facebook made it public so people can invest. Well, if something else comes around, like, for instance, MySpace. MySpace was a private company at first before they opened it to the public. When they went under, they went bankrupt. That's why
the difference with this type of situation though is like whatever group of people or families or whatever the case may be that literally have scripted everything that we experience, as far as the systems we live in and how they're all connected and whatever else, blah blah blah. These people aren't the types of people that need investors though, so there's nothing for them to or there's no need for them to have investors to put up money in order to do X, Y, and Z because they are the ones that create the money. They create it, out of like thin air. It's not something that they need investors to invest in because they've got the system.
But see, that's the thing. Even though they have so much, I don't think at any point in time, for instance, my brother is a business guy. He could sell water to a whale. That's how good he is. The problem is that even if you have that money, you're still gonna want insurance. And like McVice just said in the chat, they don't use money like we use money. It's not, well, in a sense, we're not talking as in paper. It's digital currency as basically. And I also wanted to actually touch into that Bitcoin thing when we get a chance.
The money is just a control mechanism. Though they don't care about the money. They're more interested in the power and the control and the ability to manipulate the world masses. They don't care about money. So the money, if anything, well, not even, I don't even want to put it like that. The money is to be a tool of oppression. They use it in order to control us. If we didn't live in a monetary system the way that it's set up, you know, you wouldn't necessarily have to go slaving away at a work, you know, at a job for 40 to 70 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're not in it for the money. The money is just something that they use in order to gain control. Like, who was it? It was like Churchill or one of these presidents or whatever, or one of these people. It might have been one of the Rothschilds for all I know. I might be screwing it up, but they said, you know, basically give me control of a country's money, basically, and they can own the country. You know, so it's like, it's one of those things where when it applies to like investors, they don't really need investors because they're the ones that are creating this money. That money is a product of the system that they created. So they're not really looking for investors. And if they are looking for investors, they're looking for people that are vested in the idea of going to work every day and earning that money, because that's how they control you, you know, with that money. I just don't think that investors are something that that they're concerned with as far as making profit. Granted,
okay, I see what you're saying.
They do make profit, but like McVice was saying, they don't use money like we do. Yeah, because they don't need it. They have everything at their disposal. This is just something that they created in order to control us. You know what I mean? So I don't think that they need investors like that. On the lower level, yeah, when you get into these, you know, these people that deal with the stock markets and stuff like that, yeah, then, you know, you kind of need investors to propagate the system. But when you get up on that level, like you know, Rothschild and above, I don't think they give two craps about investors at all.
Okay, I see what you're saying. What have you've been hearing about the whole Bitcoin thing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What are you for it or apprehensive about it?
I think and who was it? I think Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's pretty knowledgeable about this Bitcoin thing. But to me, Bitcoin is just another form of fiat currency. There's no value. People literally place the value in it. I don't see. To me, Bitcoin is something that if you're just using it to make purchases online or something like that, it's probably not a bad thing. But the moment you get into the investing side of it, you might as well just like grease up your asshole and bend over, because it's coming sooner or later. You're gonna get it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's
actually, I heard Bo Jackson on a Dojo Gang. If anyone in the chat or listening has not subscribed to Dojo Gang yet, you need to. He's a very smart man, and nothing but respect to him.
That's where we were talking about it at too.
Yeah. I was listening in. Personally, I don't trust Bitcoin at all. Period. Here's why. Started about 10 years ago. The government was talking about the one world currency, but no one wanted to do it. To me, Bitcoin is a government-made thing. Here's why. When the dark web, all these things were going hard and heavy, everything was going on, the FBI and the CIA were already there. Then it came out that the FBI had sold or had stole millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And in doing so, it made me realize if they stole it and they were there and it didn't get out to the main the public as public knowledge, then something has to be going on. Here's what I think is happening. Realize there's 100 different things like Bitcoin out there that no one talks about.
You know, and I said it the other day too. Why is it that there's like 3 or 4 or 5 other cryptocurrencies, but you hear nothing about them? You only hear about Bitcoin. There's a reason for that.
So, yep. And recently, and understand this, there has never been anything, gold, silver, nothing that has skyrocketed in value like Bitcoin has in the past few weeks. Here's why I think it's happening. Because like I just said, Rothschilds and all these families, they control all this. Now, if that's what happens is when it's still nothing, no one invests in it. Why? Because no one knows what's going to happen. The second it starts jumping like it does, what happens? People want to buy into it before it gets too expensive. And then they can, invest and make their money on it. But we all know what happens with investment.
Then the bubble bursts.
Exactly. Now, here's what happened. I'm not sure how many people found out about this or know about this, but last week or a few weeks ago, Bitcoin was hacked for $40 million. $40 million worth of Bitcoin. And all the media was talking about was the fact that Bitcoin and it being so good and the stocks going up so high, or the value going up so high, but it's still unsafe. And right there, that is the reason. It's still unsafe. Now, if you're a company who wants a company who wants a one world currency, there's a currency out there, Bitcoin, that is basically a method to currency besides for the American dollar or any other country's dollar. It skyrockets. You tell the people, oh, but Bitcoin's so unsafe. But we have a currency, a cryptocurrency, and we can make it safe. You guys love Bitcoin. Obviously, those stocks went up. The value of our cryptocurrency is going to go up. Let's do it that way. I think Bitcoin going up, the hack, everything is all part of the one world currency that basically they've always wanted. But if no one voted for it, no one said they wanted it, so they have to do something to make us want it. And what do? You show the value of Bitcoin, what it can be. But it's unsafe, people. But we got a safe one.
See, to me, Bitcoin screams Bernie Madoff. If anybody's familiar with Bernie Madoff,
yeah.
To me, this is just another form of Bernie Madoff. Basically, as far as an investor is concerned, not the typical user that just uses Bitcoin to purchase items on the internet. But to me, it's like, and there have been people that have actually been charged with fraud and whatever else. Like this is one of those things that you got to kind of, I would suggest going to Natural News and checking with Mike Adams, the health ranger. He goes in on Bitcoin quite often, and I've been following Mike Adams for years, and he puts out some really good, accurate information about everything from vaccines to Bitcoin. So he doesn't leave any stones unturned. His research is thorough, and he's pointing out the major flaws with Bitcoin. He's pointing out the people that are defrauding the system, the people that have charges brought up on them and things like this. He's showing you the shadiness of Bitcoin. And once you start to realize all these things and understand that it's coming from someone that I consider to be reputable and his information is top notch as far as I'm concerned. Once you check out this man's assessment of Bitcoin, to me, you'd have to be a fool to invest in it. Or
What was his name again?
Or Mike Adams. It's called Natural News. I would
Okay.
definitely subscribe to Natural News for more reasons than one. Bitcoin is just one drop in the bucket of the stuff that he touches on. But to me, Bitcoin is like one of those things. Like when you see, for instance, in like the last week or so, it went up to like $15,000 or something crazy for like one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay, now people, oh man, this is nuts. We got to get in on this. And then all these people start dumping their money into it. And then, like you said, it grows immensely in a short period of time. The people that are actually in it to defraud, they walk away with the cash. Now, all these people are sitting on this bubble that is going to burst ultimately because now everybody's dumping this money into something that is not even,
Tangible.
yeah, to me, it's kind of like if you ever played Grand Theft Auto, you know how you can take 20 real dollars, like 20 cash dollars, and buy $1 million or something crazy on Grand Theft Auto. To me, basically, that's what Bitcoin is. You're taking, not that it really goes down like that, but you're basically taking $20 of real money and you're buying like, $100 of imaginary money. You're just giving your money away. What happens
Yeah.
if whatever monies that you've made, you want to pull it out all of a sudden? How do you do that? What happens if and another major problem with Bitcoin is the amount of energy, electricity that these computers, these mainframes have to draw upon in order to mine the Bitcoin. Like when you look at the projections, specifically the ones that Mike Adams put out, when you look at the projections, if Bitcoin grows at the rate that it's expected to grow, like over like the next 10 years or something, there won't be enough electricity in the world in order to run all these computers that are mining the Bitcoin. It's not even ecologically feasible.
Yeah, what I heard is if say Bitcoin became the world currency, they would have to build a completely separate grid of the grid we have.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. And for people to understand, that'd be like saying there is a whole different electrical, internet, everything grid to your ATM machine.
And now think about this, just to take it a step further. Now think about it like this. Okay, now you get some guy that comes along and he's like, screw Bitcoin, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, he comes up with some elaborate plan to like destroy that grid that, supplies all the energy for Bitcoin. And now what happens to all your Bitcoin? You ain't got no electric, or you don't have the system that's powering it.
You know what I want to find? And I haven't even looked it up yet, but I would like to find somebody who has cashed in on their Bitcoin.
My neighbor did.
Because I don't. Okay, so it's not an impossible thing. Because I was wondering if you can even get your money for it.
See, this is I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't know his details and exactly how he did it, but I talked to him. I know he invests a lot. He's got a lot of different investments. He's like up Warren Buffett's ass, so like he's into this stuff big time.
And I want to make it clear to everyone that's listening: investing isn't bad. Investing is actually a very smart thing to do, especially when you learn and you figure out how to invest. Because investing isn't just, hey, I got a portion of money, let me just throw that in there. It actually is a profession and be an investor. I apologize, Jay. I just wanted to get that out before I forgot.
I'm glad you said that, though, because that's one of the things that these people that are out to basically defraud that Bitcoin system, if you will, they bank on ignorant investors that just want to jump in real quick because they see, oh, well, everybody else is doing it and it's making money, so let me get in on it. That's where the bulk of the money that they probably make comes from ignorant investors, because investors that are wise and understand the game that they're getting into, they kind of know when to to hold them and when to fold them. You know, the old song says or whatever.
Yeah,
So
my
don't
brother.
depend on people like that that don't know no better.
Yeah, my brother was telling me, because my brother like does investing and stuff like that. He adds a profession, but he does invest.
Mm-hmm.
He told me never invest on a company blowing up because everything, just like most things, there's always a wonderful, blissful time. I'll call it the Goldilocks effect.
It's the honeymoon period.
Yeah, but everything always goes back down to a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what he said is there's a level of we'll say a zero. He said if you're going to invest, you invest in the company that's at 1, not the company that's at 100.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna sell, you don't sell on what's happening now. You sell on the history of that investment. My brother, he showed me because when Facebook became public, the first thing I wanted to do was go throw 10 grand on Facebook. When my brother showed me the actual stats of Facebook, understand this. Facebook, if I wanted to become a shareholder, Facebook's worth a penny right now. Now they may say it's worth millions and billions. It's worth a penny, which means if I put $10,000 when I wanted to on Facebook, if I wanted to buy out, I would get a penny back.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
And if you look at the stocks right now, they're up. They're up a lot. But the problem is when you look at from the start to now, and you look at those graphs, which are very important. When you look at those graphs, you know what you see? That they are so far below where they were when they started. They're bankrupt basically, and they're just trying to get money, and that is why they made it public.
Right. They're showing you that it's on the uptick, but they're not telling you that even though it's on the uptick, it's still like 1,000% below what it was originally.
Exactly.
And it's just starting to rebound. So you're still in it's a big sham, I think. But my neighbor, he actually made some money on it. I don't know how he cashed it out, but we talked about it and he told me, I don't know what the catalyst for him to get out of it was, but he's like, you know what? He was like, remember we talked about that Bitcoin thing? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I had to pull out of it. It just kind of don't seem right. He's like, I've been investing for a long time and it's doing things that just don't seem right to me. They're red flags. I got to get out of it before I lose my ass. And that was about 4 or 5 years ago when he got out of it. But he did make some money.
Yeah, because when we see a company's stock skyrocket like that and to be affordable still to invest in, everybody, I don't care who you are, the first thought in your mind is, I want to throw some money into that and make some money. The problem is companies do not do that. There's especially companies, Bitcoin, Facebook, all these things have been around so long now that real investors look at it and go, just like you said, something's fishy's going on, because companies that have been around that long or been in existence for a while don't just skyrocket like that. There's no reason for Bitcoin to have skyrocketed the way it has over the past few weeks at all.
Exactly. And if people didn't learn from Bernie Madoff, then shame on them, because all those people that were investing with Bernie Madoff, they were getting like 20 and 30% returns when the rest of the market in every aspect was getting whooped. No returns whatsoever. And these people were getting 20 and 30% returns consistently. And they didn't even scoff at it. They didn't give a crap because they were making money. Oh, let it ride. Now, had they been smart enough and pulled their money out at that point in time, yeah, they would have made out like bandits, but they just had to keep it in there. Oh, because this is so good, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And then what happened? The bubble burst because all the original investors seen what it was hitting for. They wanted their money out. They're like, I'm getting up out of here. Yep. Something ain't right. And then, when he had to, whatever. I just feel, whatever. Yeah. This is just my opinion, but I would never invest in something like Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency for that matter, because there's no value in it. I mean, the value only comes from what people place in it. There's no resource to back it up. It's just like every other fiat currency. It's like like with the money that we use right now, the nickels and dimes and quarters and all the metal that the coins are made from is more valuable than the damn money.
Well, that's the thing. Also, you got to understand that we are already in a one currency world. Understand that. There may be a few countries that don't use the US dollar, but there's only a handful. There's 95% of this world, the US dollar is the accepted currency. Now they may use something else, but guess what? It's still the US dollar is still the one world currency.
And why is that?
Now, the dollar and the change, that is not US currency. It seems like it is, but you can all that banking, it's just numbers. When we talk currency, it's numbers. It's numbers in a bank, numbers on a computer. Money you have in your pocket tomorrow could be useless.
Yeah, and literally the coins would be more valuable than the paper, which they are at this current time right now. The coins that you carry around, just because they're metal, is more valuable than the currency. That currency has no true value.
And what happened was about, I don't know the exact number, I believe it was about 40 to 50 years ago, nickels, dimes, quarters, they were actual like steel, like silver. Real silver. Pennies were real pure copper. Guess what?
Not anymore.
They no longer are, because the US government realized that the actual change
was more
valuable than the dollar, more valuable than their numbers. They had to change it so that they couldn't get screwed.
Your nickels are still valuable though, because they actually contain nickel.
Yes. But if you guys go get a quarter right now, or go get a dime, or even a penny, and you scuff that up, you will realize they are all plated. Even gold's the same damn way. No one has a pure gold chain. You want to know why? Because if you had a pure gold chain, that thing would break in about a week.
It would be too soft.
Yep, it would snap.
You gotta mix it with silver. Usually they mix it with some silver or something like that.
Yep,
to make an alloy.
And if you go out and buy a cheap gold necklace or ring, that's why it turns green. It's not fake, but because of all the chemicals they've had to mix to make that, there is a reaction to skin, because some people have that. Like if I wear silver, I'll break out. That's how I know how good a necklace I've been given is or not. You know, when you back in the day, high school, used to wear those gold chains and all that stuff. Yeah, well, trust me, there's a lot of not so good ones.
Like, yo, you got a ring around the collar, bro.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Oh, that's my chain. Wow.
Yeah. Regardless of how it is, everyone needs to understand. One, investing, real investing, is a numbers game between a few people that are rich as fuck and are just having fun. It is just the same thing as going and sitting down at a blackjack table. Matter of fact, it is worse because you really don't have any choice. You have no way of deciding whether or not you make or lose money. That's all there is to it. So if those people that are professional investors, they're part of that same bullshit game. The same reason that, I mean, put it this way, it's impossible. And if it's not impossible, you should be betting on football games and selling your information, which is called insider trading. Investing is not, when it even came out, it wasn't something for you to make money on. It was a way to almost save money or back your money into someone who could make you money. Nowadays, when you think of investing, it's get rich.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly why you have things like bubbles that burst and then people get caught ass out like Prince jeans.
Yeah, because realistically, all investing is lending money to a company. But what ended up happening probably 100, 200 years ago, someone said, hey, remember that $100,000 I lent you? I need it back. Well, if someone loans you money, then you owe them money. But if you can figure out a way for them to give you your money, and if shit hits the fan, I have to give it back, that would probably be better. So it'd be all it is instead of me saying, hey, can I borrow $100? It's, hey, can you give me $100 of your money? And if something works, I'll give it back. But if not, leave me alone.
Well, yep, so much.
That's all it is.
My bad. Can't
Yeah,
help you.
it's just a way to. All you're doing is lending your money without a promise of return.
Basically, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way around it.
And if people started holding, like, most people use, I guess they use brokers or whatever, but nobody really has the ability to hold their broker accountable. Because if people could hold their brokers accountable for losing money, there would be no brokers. You know what I'm saying? But the brokers aren't liable for that money. Now, if you told that, if there was something that said that broker was responsible for, a certain percentage of that money if it was lost, since he was the one that chose to move it to wherever he moved it to and lost it, they would probably either get out of the investing business, or they would be more careful about where they move your funds to if they had something on the line in case it was lost. Now, who's to say that there isn't some sort of, like a shadow entity that these brokers basically move your funds into this portfolio, and then it's like, oh, we lost this on a bad investment, sorry, can't do nothing for you, and then they get a kickback.
I was actually just going to say that. So I do, besides for running heavy machinery and grade checking and stuff like that, I dirt broker. Here's a really bad reality of investing. If you have a broker, he is not for you. He is not trying to help you. First of all, he's trying to help himself. My job is not to help a contractor needing to get rid of dirt. My job is to help me. Now, I've been put in these situations where the person needing to get rid of dirt, and there's a person that needs the dirt. Whoever is going to make my wallet bigger is usually who I broker for, which means one of the two are going to get screwed, or they're both are going to. There's never a situation where both companies win and I lose. As a dirt broker, my job is to make money. My job is to figure out a way to make money, not them. It's the exact same way when it comes to investment brokers. Exact same way. And what you were just saying is actually what does happen. And I don't know for a fact in the banking and investing, that industry, but as in my industry, 100% it happens. There are companies that will a trucking company or contractors that will call me, let me know what they need, and my numbers to them change based on a spectrum of things. There are companies that I work with that are bigger than another company that I work with. So I will charge the bigger company more money, keeping the smaller company at a lower fee. Why? Not because I can make more money off that bigger company, because that smaller company will always come to me, and when he gets big, he will still come to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a science. It's not just about let me help this person and I'll make some money on the side. Brokers are not about helping you. They don't care at all. I can tell you that for a fact, because in my industry, I do broker dirt, and that is how I have to think if I want to survive as a dirt broker.
And one of the things about a broker, just real quick, one of the things about a broker, the reason why they're called brokers is because when you give them your money, you're broker than they are.
100%, 100%. And realization of it is all a broker is, you're too lazy to do the footwork, I'll do it for you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Understand this. They make money easier than I do. And you want to know what I do as a dirt broker? All I do is look for a place for people to dump dirt. I don't make these places. These places are already there. I'm just doing the legwork to find it. And even worse, I don't even have to do legwork. People call me. I literally make money finding a place for someone to dump their dirt from a call I got from someone saying, I need dirt.
Mm-hmm.
All it is I'm the guy who will do what you don't want to do. But it's that easy. Any of you guys can become a broker. That's how easy it is. If you understand your industry, you become a broker in that industry.
Yep.
Yeah, it's that simple. And even worse than, like I was saying, I can control my industry. Brokers control what happens, not the investors, not the person needing the. I do. A broker controls it. I know this because I can tell there are probably 20 different dirt brokers in my area. I can make my numbers so low that everyone has to come to me because it'd be ridiculous not to. I won't make as much money, but I will make sure that those guys don't. The problem with that is that there's only so far I can go before I have to raise my prices to. All right, no worries. To keep myself afloat. When it comes to investing your money, like I said, it's not an investing. You're playing blackjack with less odds than gambling or poker, because you're putting your faith in someone to give you what you need. For when I'm talking broker, I have to use my industry because that's all I really know about brokering. But if we'll say you have some dirt that you need to get rid of and you don't have a place for it or a way to get it there, and you call me and I give you a price for it, I will give you a price that will make you want to use me. I could give you a number that I want, doesn't mean you're going to want to pay it. But if you're willing to give me any amount that is worth it to me, I'll work with you. Here's the thing. At any given point in the middle of the day, a job site could shut down. You know what I mean? Or trucks could break down. And as far as I'm concerned, the job's done. Everything else after that has nothing to do with me. I only have a spot for you, and I said you can bring your dirt here. What that means is I'm the middleman who doesn't care what happens unless it involves me making money. There's nothing different about what I do as a dirt broker, as an investment broker that does it for these companies. It's the same thing. Dirt, banks, Bitcoin, everything. When it comes to investing in brokers, it's all the same. A broker for anything with your best interests at heart, ever. There's no brokers out there that'll go, I'll work with you. Even if we lose money, I still work with you. No, they all want to make their money. The only person between the person who wants to invest and the company that needs investors, the only person making money. That's why being a broker is actually probably one of the top money-making jobs you could have. The only thing you have to do is for people to want to use you to do what they need. Brokers are the middleman for everything. In my industry, when I go to a job, I do not introduce myself as a dirt broker. I introduce myself as someone who has a spot to dump dirt or blah blah blah, because brokers do not have a good reputation in construction for that reason. Whether it be companies having issues with each other or not liking each other or not wanting to work with each other, was the only reason brokers became anything. And it's the same thing. we'll use Walmart for instance. Walmart does not want to go and ask people that walk in their doors, "Hey, do you want to invest so we can keep going?" No, they don't. So what they do is they find a broker who does all the promotions, does all this stuff, finds investors, the whole nine, and that's how things get built and how it works like that. What's up, Danny? My apologies. I just saw you. Let me go ahead and there you go. You're good to go. Mute your mic. But yeah, it's when it comes to Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned, want like I have few investments. The things that the problem are is if I can't touch it, the full understanding of how it works, basically just pulling money out of my wallet and throwing it in the dumpster because anything could happen. Bitcoin, as far as reality is concerned, is literally just you can't show me your Bitcoin. You can show me a place where you can show me a balance of your Bitcoin, but I have a few friends that have Bitcoins and they're all loving the fact that it's going up. And they'll show me on their phone these numbers. The problem is they don't even know how it works. So what happens? So I told them, you guys should probably if I owned Bitcoin before, is sell. I would get rid of every bit of my Bitcoin and get money. If that was because otherwise, one second. Otherwise, tomorrow, for instance, tomorrow, we could find out Bitcoin lost everything. Bitcoin could be worth that one penny I was talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just rambling. I was just talking about I got a couple buddies of mine that were showing me how much they have in Bitcoin. Actually, one of my friends, if we want to put Bitcoin in dollars, he actually went from $1,000 investment, and he's probably is sitting on about $250,000 right now. I told him, you need to buy out now.
Yep.
Convinced because it is going up, and remember this: the only thing going up is a line that they showed you. Because just as quick as it goes up, it can go down just as fast. There are companies that have been worth billions, and then 2 days later, worth zero. Here's the other thing: there are companies that make companies to make that happen. They're called dummy companies, and it's just the way the world works. Like I said, if you're
from their money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, so if you ever even want to invest, you don't invest your money. You invest money that you have to play with. If you're willing to go to the casino, because what happens is, like, if I go gambling, I go with $100 and I go there to lose that $100. Now, have I walked out with more? Oh yeah, quite a bit. Have I walked out with zero? Oh, far more than I've ever walked out with money. It works. So you have to be able to go into investing as I'm willing to lose this money to what I'm putting it towards. Because that's the scary part. There are people I've heard people out their mouth say they want to put more than half of their savings into Bitcoin. And I look at them like, you have got to be the dumbest person, or you know something that no one else does.
That's the same way that people got caught up in that Bernie Madoff crap. Because it was doing so good, and they just had to stay on board. And instead of walking away with their $1.5 million, they wanted to walk away with 10 million, and it just didn't happen. They lost it all. People lost their life savings.
The housing bubble that we just had. We remember a while ago, all of a sudden houses became so damn affordable. It was ridiculous. You could have had the worst credit on the planet. It was under the same thing. Guess what? We knew that China was buying everything. So what did we do? We wanted to make sure that when they started wanting to buy stuff, houses, that there were people living in them. Trust me, if no one's living in these houses, China's not going to want to buy them. They want to make sure people live there so they can make their money. So what did the government do? They gave all these subsidized loans so anybody could get into a house. Anybody. I know people that were making $50,000 a year in $500,000 houses.
And that's what they call subprime mortgage lending.
Yep,
exactly. There's an excellent movie out about that. I think it's on Netflix. It's called The Big Short.
Yes, I saw that.
If you've never seen that movie, I suggest you watch it, and you can actually see how these people knew what was going on. They knew that the bubble was going to burst, and they still kept giving out these subprime mortgages. Like Sean said, you had a guy, making $150,000 or whatever, living in like a $4 million house or whatever it was. He said, where his income didn't really match that his ability to take care of that property or whatever. The movie is excellent. But it gives you an insider's look about how shady these people are.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened with banking. The reason banking, the reason why they had to get brain fart, the kickback or whatever the fuck it was what Obama did, gave all their fucking money they lost back, was because they knew it was going to happen when they were giving all these mortgages out. Their money. How do you give a loan or a mortgage to somebody off in their whole life? How? You can't. It's impossible. It doesn't work that way. They knew it was going to happen. The government knew it was going to happen. But guess who owns all those foreclosed houses now? The government, which is the same thing. And guess who they know is going to bail them out? Guess who the government knows is they're going to get their money from? China. Not many people understand this, but China is the superpower right now. We may have a bigger army, but let's keep it real. It's about money. It's about what it says on that account. China
they own all of our debt.
Yes. China bought our debt. Anything. So they're all the countries that we owe money to. Collector, basically. He went and China went and they bought all our debts, and now they are literally the richest country with the most power. They may not have a big army, they may not be able to do shit when it comes to our war, but guess what? We don't fuck with China. Why? Because we owe them so much money and they have so much money. Not many people understand it, but I'd say 40 to 50% of all businesses, houses are owned by China in America or across the world.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, oh, way, yeah. I just wanted to, I didn't want to give a 90%, but I'm telling you right now, China is running through every country they can, buying anything they can. And guess what? They don't even have to have the money. They can come to America right now and probably buy half a fucking state worth of shit and just sign on a paper and walk away. They are owed so much.
Actually, they don't even have to do that technically because they own so much of our debt, and people don't realize how it's tied into their everyday living situations in some cases, that if some Chinese officials really wanted to, and they said, okay, America, we want to, what do they call that? When you cash in that debt or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like, for instance, when you take out a loan and you have to repay it. All right, so now basically, since China owns that debt, they could literally say, all right, well, you know what, America, we don't think that your ability to pay us is going to be, you know, legit or whatever. They could literally come and start confiscating property because they literally own
100%.
it.
I mean, the realization is they won't just take everything that's of value because, like I said, we do have a bigger army. It's just the way it works. But get this. And one reason that we have not invaded North Korea is because North Korea and China are allies. Here's the other sick thing. China, or better yet, North Korea needs oil, they need fuel, they need food, they need materials, right? Guess who's giving it to them? Our friends, China. The reason we don't invade China or fight China or say anything about China is because we owe them so much money. Because as a business, they're in cahoots with each other.
Not only that, but then
If
technically the U.S. would be defaulting.
Go ahead. 100%. If we decided to invade China, we would basically be screwing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We will never go to war with China because if we ever went to war with China, we'd be screwing ourselves. It'd be like it'd be like there being a civil war, but like there were no sides. Everyone was against everybody. It'd be anarchy. No
Civil
point behind it.
all.
No winner. Exactly. And I know that's why we haven't invaded North Korea yet. We're in talks with China about it. How many times has a country, or better yet, so Japan or North Korea has shot at least 10 missiles being tested over Japan, which is against the UN treaty, which means basically any country can go to war with North Korea for doing so. Why do you think America has talks with China over 100 times over it? It's like basically China's our boss, North Korea's China's kid, and that fucker keeps throwing fucking baseballs through my window. But I don't want to go next door and tell you how bad your dumbass kid is. Just ask that maybe he stops throwing it in my direction. And that's the reality of it. Because that's the other thing. If we did invade North Korea, don't believe that Cheney and all these other resources are going to go in there and rebuild North Korea. They're going to blow that shit up and walk away. They don't make any money off the only thing they would get from invading North Korea, not having to deal with the fucking Chinese dude's kid and throwing bricks through your window anymore. That's the only benefit to it. We don't make any money. The problem we have is that Trump has sent so much. The numbers of military assets sitting in the Pacific Ocean right now are ridiculous. And that is the reason I personally believe how real an attack from North Korea is. Stop thinking nukes. By the way, nukes are real. To be able to do that is not going to happen with North Korea. Don't think that they can't hit America. They just can't hit America with the using. If they had something, you think they're going to get rid of it? Testing? No. That's why that EMP thing became so real. There's a YouTube channel that the Homeland Security has, and they air all their airable meetings they have. The threat of North Korea has been talked about so much, it is insane. They go on probably maybe once to twice a week. In the last, I'd say 10 broadcast streams they've had, 8 of them have been about the threat of North Korea system and our Department of Defense. Problem I have is they're not telling the public any of these things. I don't think, or just like when we were going through the Cold War, they were doing the whole bomb shelters, things at school for just in cases. They're not doing any of that stuff at all. The only thing they've done is that EMP ham radio thing they did, and all they did then was make conspiracy theorists believe that they were going to shut power down for 3 days. What was it? I didn't think about it now or then. I was listening to Dojo Gang. Once again, if you have not, go subscribe to that dude. He's smart as shit, and he's got a lot of good ideas. He said something about those EMP things that I never even thought about. An EMP attack? Anything. Pacemakers. Do you understand that? There are probably 1 million people with pacemakers sitting at home, maybe even watching this. If they would have done an EMP test by using an EMP, it would shut down pacemakers. One reason alone, they would never actually test an EMP device. But that is also the reason they need to be making this public of how serious an EMP attack is. Because understand this as well. An EMP attack does not have to come from North Korea. Or we may. I don't know of it. There could be some asshole singing in his basement right now doing EMP, making an EMP. New York, about 3 years ago, a guy made a suitcase EMP that blew up or destroyed like 3 blocks of New York or 4 blocks of New York. In a device that was the size of like half a suitcase. It's not the thing is this technology is not difficult to do. As enough about how to protect ourselves. I've never heard one government official, one media outlet say, "Hey, you guys should start looking into Faraday boxes." Not one.
You can actually make a mini EMP yourself. Like literally,
no. Put this way.
Your house.
Put this way. Go set your alarms on anything for 1 minute from now, and you will be setting off an EMP device. When your alarm goes off, that beep, that is that. When you turn your microwave on and all your crap starts acting funny, that's an EMP device. A Faraday box, which protects you from those EMPs. Your microwave is a Faraday box.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe in ear shout out distance of me right now. Look into a Faraday box. Build one. Whether there are people I've seen, it was crazy. There's actually a guy that built a Faraday box shelter. Problem is that every bit of his electricity would need to be in that shelter when it happens. I've read online people that put their cell phones in a Faraday box when they go to bed, so that if something did happen, it works. Not that it would work 100%, because you still need a grid system to make these communications with. At least he would not be zapped out completely. I thought it was crazy because the only communication that will be able to be happening after an EMP attack would be those ham radios. The ham radio, turn it on and start talking. You actually have to register yourself to do that. I thought that was crazy.
Because they want to know who's got the capability to skirt the loss of, or the EMP or something. So.
Here's the other really crazy thing about ham radios. All this Big Brother stuff happening where they're collecting all our data. They can't do that with ham radios. It's not a tower to tower signal. Ham radio signal. So, for instance, Dre, you could have a ham radio. I could have a ham radio. If no one in between us has one, our signal may get to each other. It won't be the best, but the more people in between us that have one, the better our signals get to each other.
Yeah, because they're like they piggyback off each other.
Exactly. It is not a system that runs off a grid at all.
Each receiver is actually a booster.
Then it's a transmitter. Yep.
Yeah, that's the word. Not booster.
Yeah, and all that stuff. I mean, it's to me is the biggest slap in the face when I think about it. They'll tell you about how Facebook is doing this, Bitcoin is on the rise, but what they're not telling us is this stuff about like stuff that we got to actually worry about. One of the topics that was going on, I was listening to the other day, was someone asked a question about immigration. I don't know about other states. Here in California, they're actually seriously cracking down on to the point where before you needed a reason, or cops needed a reason to find out your immigration status. They're actually pulling over people on the freeway in mass numbers, and if you are not a legal citizen, being deported. There are people that are on waiting for visas that are getting sanctioned or getting court cases to find out their status and what's going on. And someone in the one of these posts asked a question that I thought it was a really good question, and it's of reality. It was, do we give people that are already here passes, citizenship, or deport?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Finally. Sorry.
The problem with what you then are asking becomes a moral question, or is it? And here's why. Everyone knows somebody probably that maybe is here on a visa, or was on a visa, or whatever, and they may be awesome people. And in that case, you would 100% say, yes, give them citizenship. They deserve it. They work their asses off. They pay taxes. They're good people, right? Here's the problem. You have to look at all the spectrums of that situation. So, best friend who is an illegal get it citizenship, you also giving a terrorist or a criminal the same opportunity for that citizenship. People, and literally they called me an asshole, said I was just I was racist, I was this, I was that, and I had to break it down to them. Here's the reality of it. If right now you put it in front of me and I was the one making this decision, regardless of who I know, because I do know people that are not legal citizens here or even on a legal path to it, okay, deport, because you have to look at the big spectrum of it. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They're here. They know there are terrorists here. The worst part is I believe they even know who the fuck they are, but they're using that. They're using us for America's or the government's gain still. All those people they quote unquote said were involved with 9/11 years before 9/11 even happened. Why? Because they needed a reason to get the Patriot Act going. You think it's been 4 or 5 years since they've been able to collect all our information legally? They've been doing it forever, but they need a reason to use it now. They need a reason to say we're doing it. What do? You make a terrorist attack. That's why everything going on in America is a terrorist attack. Everything. install in our brains why they're doing the asshole things they're doing. This goes back to more bullshit, more lies, more what they want. Fuck what we need. And it does get ridiculous. It to do with the real, just like the real stuff, like bullshit sciences and all that shit. None of those things. I mean, those are all just government tangible things that make them feel better. Now, when it comes down to the science of things, if the majority of people understood half of what they're telling us is why things are the way they are, we'd all look at them and tell them to go fuck themselves because of how much bullshit it sounds. Definitely went off topic, Dre. and I get that.
It's all good. It's all good.
But it all actually does. If we started calling the government out on their bullshits, all the other stuff that we just talked about would have to be answered as well. Those serious situations. We come to put it this way, it'd be like me. Now, I've never had any school in quantum. It'd be like me coming up with this theory of quantum mechanics, and in 30 years, them still using my theory. Everything that they tell us, gravity, speed of light, physics, everything. How everything works is based on some shit a few guys said over 500 years ago, or it started like that over 500 years ago. Same thing. Everyone's so in love with these electric cars, the whole nine. Electric cars are so damn dangerous. The batteries are built under the same degrees as nuclear technology. Those batteries, you can't put them in a landfill. They do not work the same way. You have to find a facility to store those batteries forever. For Earth than cars are. Goes into the other thing. Antarctic Treaty. Personally, the whole flat Earth thing is a situation there. Here's another one. I believe the amount of natural fuels in Antarctica are so crazy in an amount there that they have to make sure not one country takes hold of it. That makes any sense. What was I gonna say? Damn it!
Oh, my bad.
I was ranting.
No,
I was ranting, and I was trying to find something. And that's the thing. Not for many people kind of go back to the topic we started at. When it comes to science, or let's better get it this way: if someone walks up to you or you go up and ask somebody how something works, they tell you something that makes no sense. You kind of have to believe it, take it in. What they're not telling you is the 100 other answers. I don't think very many people understand how many theories of how everything works there are. So what we were talking about earlier, Dre, what we were talking about Einstein's theory of relativity.
Special theory.
No, wait, hang on. The relativity, or the theory of relativity. His, like you said, special theory of relativity, which basically goes, hey, I know you just debunked the fuck out of relativity. You can't. Here's the special reasons you can't. And where you think that just his time and all that, the theory he has originally fetched, especially because of the time he came up with these theories. Special theory of relativity. It's so ridiculous. Like the leaps and bounds, a reality to them was so far fetched. It literally is insulting if you really want to think about it. I personally, I'm gonna try to find some online so I can get the numbers of it right. But it doesn't at all how anybody could come up with the ideas and the now these are great ideas. These are wonderful. I mean, for his time, genius. They said he was dumb, but anybody who can even have a grasp of quantum quantum mechanics it has to be some kind of smart, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got. I mean, the guy is. Excuse me. The guy obviously had some intelligence. You know, I just think that his intelligence was used in order to create some bullshit.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it all had a lot to do with space travel and other country. You know, the race, the race to space, and everything. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, "Why? Why would the government do this?" I don't know. When you were 5 years old and you broke something, why didn't you just tell your parents you did it? Why did you lie? It's a stupid white lie. It's pointless. Okay, yeah. Well, guess what? It just happens, and now we're talking like because it's the government, they would never lie to us. Matter of fact,
See,
let me
people
read something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
just people need to realize, like when people say that, why would the government do this? People need to realize is because the government is not set up to have your best interest at heart. That
They're
government is
brokers.
set up to serve. Basically, yes, exactly. That government is set up to serve an entity that basically doesn't include you. You're just, you know, you're just a pawn. You're a product.
Yeah.
you're,
Well,
you're
imagine this. There are very few people who are so rich and powerful that they understand. And this was actually something that used to have that was a thought in Rome. How do the rich and powerful, who are so few, aka the 1%, keep power over so many? You lie. You tell them things to make them happy. You tell them things to get their mind off of taking over. If you want to realize it like this, there are more people in the United States than there are Marines. There are more people than there are government officials. You see what I'm saying? They have to figure out a way to keep us not thinking about those things. Someone said, I've heard so many times when it comes to flat Earth and the globe, they told us it was a globe. They told us they had figured everything out so we wouldn't go look. Well, the more information they tell us now, it's the same thing. The internet is even a better way to show that. You gave me an opportunity to think I can go and figure everything out on this computer, the less of a chance I'm going to get in my car, get in a boat, get in a plane, and go figure it out myself. If you don't think they can censor, regulate anything on this internet right now, you've lost your mind. Now, when you think about it, the biggest YouTuber, the biggest person, Alex Jones, you name it, even those people, they don't talk to enough ears for the government to really care about. You understand what I mean? They're not telling enough people to really make them worry. So they think. It's going to take a long time, but right now, no one's hearing enough for all of America to go knock at the White House door and say, fuck you, what's up? That is why one conversation about it doesn't work. That's why you got to talk about it. You got to talk to everybody. And hopefully, in my opinion, really believe this is true, especially now because of the information that we're all figuring out and talking about. Couple, maybe even few generations, it becomes so known the corruption that's happening that then things can start changing. Understand, in our lifetime right now, our lifetime that we're living in, you're fucked. We're all fucked. Nothing is ever going to be fixed or good for us. It doesn't happen that fast. It sure as hell isn't going to happen that fast. Our kids, they're the ones who have to change things. Have an opportunity to even have a chance to change things. And I think that's the reality of it. All the how can we fix things now almost seem bullshit to me. Almost seem pointless to even talk about. Later, yes. How to protect ourselves now, maybe. But if anybody's having conversations right now about how to fix it right now, you're smoking, man. It's a pipe dream. Not going to happen. They have it set up so it doesn't happen.
The only way to fix it right now is like literally to basically blow it up, destroy it, start from scratch, toss it in the trash can. Can't fix what we're in right now. It has to be.
No, I don't even know if there's a solution for it, because you think, okay, we don't need a government. Oh, yeah, we do. We definitely need a government. Here's why. If you think every single person on this planet thinks the same, wants the same, and will act the same, you've lost your mind. The reason it'd be anarchy is anarchy for a reason. Our government needs to be more accountable. That's true. We need, because here's the worst part about it. When you look at who works for who, from 0 to 100, realistically, the government works for us, so why can't we fire them? I've heard people say you can, impeaching them and all that bullshit. Okay, well, guess what? If we wanted to impeach Trump right now, you do understand that, one, we would need enough people to get together to do that. Would send it into Congress, who is government, to decide if that's okay. Or I'm sorry, first it goes to the House of Representatives. They would decide if it's a good reason. Then they would send it to the congressmen, who decide if it's a good enough reason to get to impeach the president. Then, once you've impeached the president, guess what? That doesn't mean he's going anywhere. You've just told him you don't like him. It's almost impossible to get a president out of the White House unless it's after 8 years.
What was it? One president's been impeached in history?
Yep. That was
successfully impeached, I should say.
If you want to look at it that way, Nixon. He knew he was out before, and understand this: he got impeached. He didn't get kicked out, and he didn't get. That means he didn't get fired. That'd be like doing something so dumb at work, and your boss going, "Hey, why don't you just respectfully walk away, and you got fired on your record."
I got fired.
Huh?
I got fired.
Oh, you know.
They didn't even give you opportunity to be impeached.
Nah.
They were just like, bye-bye.
You and them controls, man.
Hang on. I'm trying to make it so I don't know what's up with your thing, Danny. I've honestly been trying to show you the broadcast for about 3 minutes now. Whatever you were doing before, stop. because before you were fine, but every time you come in and out, now it gets worse. Before we couldn't hear you, you came back, and then we could hear you, but then I couldn't see you, and then you left, and now your screen is black, and I can't show you for my life. Like I'm trying. Oh, there you go. You're good now. Finally. Now you're muted still.
All right, I'm about to take my ass to bed.
I know I was.
How late it was.
Am I?
No, I can hear you now.
Hold on, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
something.
we did kind of
Yeah,
ran the crap out of that conversation.
I just I gotta do my road assessment in the morning for my new job.
Awesome. What are you gonna be doing, if you don't mind?
Same thing, driving the bus.
Cool. Looking, I didn't realize how. That's actually bank once you get in those, because I have a friend. She was driving school buses for a hot one, and she was saying like you go, like basically, what's that word where you can advance in that company. She was like, every bus driver wants to get on like a city bus or those what do you call them? I don't know if you guys have them there, but we have the buses with the extensions. No, yeah, like for casinos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the double deckers and shit.
Yeah, okay.
Like I was told like those were the ones that make bank, like, compared to all the others.
Yo, is my voice changer thingy working?
School buses ain't really, no. It's all right. The money's okay, but compared to my construction job, no, short of me like going to college for 6 years and becoming like a brain surgeon, I won't make remotely close ever to what I made in construction.
Well, yeah, but not very many people understand that. I think mainly because if you don't, especially because like my father, he's owned a company, been in industry for so long that I kind of was luckily able to shorten my labor time in construction. So I've only had to labor for about 4 or 5 years before I started doing more stuff. It's probably on one of the only industries you can go from bottom of the barrel to owning your own company in a realistic short amount of time. Understand that.
Yeah,
What is that?
I know this is all off topic or whatever, but the thing about the construction, it's a trap though. The money is so good. Like once you start doing it, and you actually, kind of adapt to the wages you're making. If you ever try to leave that and you don't have a support system, you're toast.
You want to keep it real about it? Then here it is. I have no college experience at all. I've never stepped foot in a college class.
Me neither.
Unfortunately for myself, I don't have a career, and I can't go do anything else besides be in the construction industry.
Yeah,
and that's because of my knowledge of it, and also like you just said, and it may sound fucked up, but I have to keep it real. I could never in my life go work for minimum wage.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Wouldn't be able to. Whether regardless of help from the state type stuff and all that, I wouldn't mentally know how to survive on a minimum wage.
There's no way, really. Even by yourself, you can't. Either you'd have to decide on toilet paper or food.
No, or on all those. I've never had to really.
I'll be honest with you. Straight up, if it weren't for my wife, I wouldn't have been able to walk away from my job.
Yeah, well, shit. Was it? What? Or my bad. Yeah, I mean, what was it? Up until 6 months, 7 months ago, I mean, I basically just worked and blah blah blah. Family stuff happened, and kind of did my own thing for a little bit. And up until recently, I realized, shit. Unless I'm working construction, I don't know anything else to do, or call it pride, ego. I don't know, but I know I can't go work a job that doesn't have the opportunities that construction does like that. luckily I've been in it long enough now that I can go to any company and probably get a job there. But the realization that society is not set up to make less than being happy with, basically.
It's tough.
And then the way our kids are being raised is even worse. My son, the other night, I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And the first thing I want to play in the NFL. That's not a career, dude. That's a hobby. What do you want to do? And I went,
That's a hobby.
it is, because my brother was going to be could have got drafted for football out of high school, but then he messed up his knee. The San Diego Padres and the Houston Astros are going to draft him out of high school, and he decided. I mean, I don't know who talked to him or just how smart he was. He said, "I don't want to be drafted right out of high school." He said, "Why don't you?" He worked with the Houston Astros. He said, "Why don't you guys pay for my first 2 years of college? I'll get it, then we'll go through scholarship, and then that way I'll play for you guys." Because he wanted to get an education. He wanted to get a degree in something, and not just go straight out of high school. He got his business degree. He went to 2 years of community college and then 3 years of university at the University of Oklahoma State. And from then, I guess at probably his last season of baseball at Oklahoma, he decided that it wasn't fun. It became a job to him, basically. Luckily, he had his business degree, got into business, makes very good money. 3 years after leaving college and going into business for himself, my brother was diagnosed with a protein disease and needed a liver transplant. He will need a kidneys transplant. His health is bad, so he couldn't have been playing professional sports. And what, 2-3 years or a year and a half of farm ball, and then maybe 1 or 2 of professional ball? That's not good money. He'd have been screwed. He's made so much more money doing what he does now than he would have playing baseball. And that's why I told my son, I said, because my son is I'm talking, he has that thing. You know, when you see someone playing sports, you go, wow, they may make it. My son could probably make it to the NFL like he wants. The problem is he will never get anywhere near thinking he's going to the NFL unless he is showing me he has a career in education and getting a degree.
Something to fall back on.
Exactly. And I tell him that. I said, your Uncle Marlon, he was going to go professional. And within 3 years of him if he would have went professional within those 3 years, those baseball teams would have wanted nothing to do with him because he wouldn't have been able to play, and he would have had what? Nothing. I'm lucky. I didn't go to college. I had a very long, extensive background in construction, so I have a way to survive. But there are a lot of people out there whose even their parents push them to the professional sports, and then when that doesn't work, but I know you got to go. I know you're tired of shit. We'll continue this because we still have a whole array of subjects that we decided not to talk about, which is fine with me. I'm just happy to be back on live again.
Yeah, why haven't you been live? I've been wondering about that.
Luckily, I have started work with a new company. Very happy, very, very happy. Finally, I'll go into that maybe in the back chat.
Okay.
Kind of more personal than it is tell the world, but I've been super busy and on a good tip. I'm going to, because I realize that I now am fucking addicted to you motherfuckers. I need you all in my life, so I will be streaming more. I'll doing more. Or actually, hang on, Dre, you want to promote anything? Because I know you're trying to get out of here, man.
Oh, that's cool. I'm good. I mean, I'm going to bed, but it's cool.
Yo, Dre, do I sound like Barry White?
Hey, man, show you right.
Do
Just don't
Do you want to?
try to take your brother to your secret garden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray, you just came out. Hang on one sec, Danny. Hang on, Danny. You just uploaded the video. You uploaded your intro. So, man, when you live streaming, man.
Actually, I was actually wanting to do it this week or this weekend because I had some time to get it popping or whatever, and then my boy kind of messed me up because Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I could have been there knocking out that paint, finishing it up, and for whatever reason I couldn't get into it until like Saturday. So I'm going to shoot for next week, and if you want to, we can even try this, man. If you want to go. If you want to take a day, like maybe a Saturday or maybe even a Friday or something, maybe even before if I feel like I can do it before that. But if you want to do a live stream on my joint, we can do that and get my feet,
Absolutely.
get my feet to it.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, and that was one thing I realized. It doesn't even have to be long.
Yeah,
your first
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And here's the really, and anybody who live streams will attest to this. Believe it or not, it gets harder as you go, the longer you live stream, than it is when you first live stream.
Yeah, I can see that happen. Well,
I mean, the technical, the setup part, that's different. But now, like before when I first started, I was jumping on and it was just talking. Now I find myself having to think about what to talk about sometimes.
Before, yeah.
And if I have no one, if I like like a week or two ago or something, like you were busy, so you couldn't really jump on. Being on a panel by yourself is not easy to do. It's not easy to.
Oh, I know.
Who does that a lot? They're good about it. I can't think of who it is. They do it all. I think it's Vegan.
Vegan does it a lot. Yeah, like I love when Vegan goes in like that, man. He's good at that. But when Vegan was over the top tonight, though, he was on extra.
See, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
There are different personalities of live streaming. For instance, I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else. Vegan is actually, he's excellent at doing that solo thing. Personally, for me, the way I think goes in so many different directions that I kind of can't. For one, stay on topic. For two, get everything I want to say out, so I start rambling. So I definitely need people like Dre. I personally don't like live streaming unless Dre's here, because Dre is someone I can definitely always go back and forth with and build with. So stuff like that. I personally am not a solo live streamer.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
I don't think I will be either. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I ain't gonna front. I find it and it's just me, I guess, how I operate. Like even to like organize an informative video to me is almost a challenge. Like just getting all the stuff and putting it together, and making it cohesive. So to me, that kind of seems a little bit harder than actually going live. So I'm not really too concerned with going live. I'll put my swimmies on, get my feet wet. I think I'll be all right.
I think you'll like it a lot. I mean, if you want to really think about it, you live stream all the time. You're someone who you're not someone who gets on a panel and just sits there. You're very involved in a panel. You're live streaming. It's just not your channel. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's like I said, I think you'll like it a lot. I think you'll want to do it a lot.
Are you doing OBS or are you doing YouTube?
No, I mean, I downloaded, I got OBS and everything on my computer already. It's just a matter of actually getting the key.
I can get you set up right up. I can get you set up real quick. It'll be real quick. Just whenever you're ready.
Yeah, like seriously, the only thing that kind of really, at the end of the day, that has stopped me from doing a live stream is because I don't really have the time right now. And when I do have the time, it's like other people are live streaming, so it's almost pointless.
Just do it, man. Just do it.
No, what I realized Dre, and what you have to realize, and it's hard for me to still grasp it, but I'm trying. Live streaming, like right now, is nothing. So, like for instance, right now there are 6 people watching, right?
Mhm.
Most people don't have time or aren't in the position to get that live stream forever. That's when all the views really happen. That's when people actually find time to sit down. A lot of people don't even watch a whole live stream at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people will watch 10, 15 minutes at a time throughout a week.
Yeah,
So,
I
I
know
mean,
that because I've done that. So
It's like that 11-hour stream I had. It was only like 49 people actually was there during the live stream. And that was only for like 15 minutes straight. But the video itself, it was almost in the 300s of views.
well,
in
yeah,
like
because
a day.
on
300
this channel,
views?
we'll see,
Yeah.
like on this channel, my view count is, it's averaged my subscriptions basically, but on my on the Sean G account I have, I was averaging 10 to 20, 30 people watching. If you look at those views are in the 400-500s now, whereas this one is a little lower, but that's only because the people who actually are here, the people that are actually engaging in my channel, are on this channel. I prefer this more than I do the other one. I prefer having lower counts now because now I know
Man, I'm
what
telling you right
topics.
now, when the day comes I ever reach 100 views, I'll be like a pig in shit. To me,
Oh, you
that's a
will. I'm telling you right
milestone.
now. I'm telling you right now. I still to this day go on go into my little dashboard and everything
Mhm.
and relish. I mean, I'm like, I look at, I have a couple, I think, where I have maybe 600 views, and I'm ecstatic about it every time I fucking look at it.
So,
I have what's called the uploads that are that every freaking time I look at it, I'm like, how the hell did I get that many views on there? That is crazy. Yeah, and it's fun. I love doing this. It's like I said, this channel, I enjoy live streaming on it the most. I know the people that are in my chats, people that are watching, or that basically my view count are from actual people that I know and enjoy the content I'm bringing. Whereas in Sean G, I've already done the numbers. I'm almost 100% positive. 25 to 30% of my subs are all trolls. Now, thank you, trolls, because you guys, whether you're realizing it or not, really helping me.
Especially if you have it
Like I said,
monetized. Yeah.
yeah. Well, the other account, I'm not gonna lie to you. The second that account opens up again, I will probably only upload to this channel and live stream on the other one. But that's because I'm at like 100. I'm at like so many milestones of because of live streaming and uploading on that channel that I would be upset just throwing that channel away. Because I can tell you now, running 2 channels is not easy. It sucks. I hate doing it.
Imagine 3 or 4.
And there are people that do it too.
That's insane.
The other thing that's going on right now. So, like I said, I'm now back to work. Live stream, and most of you know, and if you don't know, you can email me at ufc420 shit@gmail.com. I have uploads on both channels, so you can go there and get the email address. I'm really enjoying doing this, the promos for other channels. When I say small channels, I mean channels that are under 1,000, channels that aren't talked about by everybody. if you don't know, what I'm doing is I'm basically I'm editing and making videos and uploading them to YouTube for these channels. I enjoy it probably more than live streaming. Period. It's fun. I've actually found a lot of different channels that I didn't even know existed just by doing what I'm doing now. And even then, it helps these channels out because more eyes, more channels talking about one channel, more channels or more people are going to want to go to it. So between work, doing these videos, live streaming, I had to choose basically which one I was going to go with, and live streaming is, like I said, it's a lot harder to do topic wise, and the doing these edits and videos does take a lot of time because I would like for them to be great. I like, you know what I mean, the product of it. I hope everyone that I am doing it for does enjoy it. If you don't like it, let me know. I'll have no problem taking down or starting over on it. I don't want to upset anybody. I want everyone who I've done one for already to be happy I'm doing it. Enjoy the fact that I have done it. But like I said, anybody listening, if you have
I really appreciate it. I love your videos.
I'm trying, and that's the reason. It's like,
Yeah, you sound
especially for like you, because you're like, whether you realize it or not, right? You're actually a big part of the flat Earth movement. I mean, you have a lot of knowledge to get out there, and a lot of people, know of these other channels because you've been on them and they've wanted to hear you, and then learning these other channels and now subscribe to them too. If you decide that you want to go live stream, that's going to be a big part of flat Earth and just knowledge. Period.
It's going to be huge. And when you first drop on there. We a lot.
Why I want people to know you're doing it. You're getting ready to do it, and that's for all. I want anybody who live streams, anybody who uploads evidence of flat Earth, flat Earth in general, music, everybody to be heard, basically. Just because if I didn't, I mean, anyone who doesn't think that way and is doing this stuff, how do you want to be heard? You know what I mean? When I jumped right in. If I look at how things are now from when I got here, I basically shouldn't even be here. I jumped in, I found flat Earth and dreads and you guys. I found you guys at that Goldilocks spot. Because I like I said, I was a glober, and I wasn't just someone who thought it was a globe. I was someone who was like, I'm going to convince these flat earthers it is not flat. Well, I mean, luckily I'm respectful enough to people's ideas that I wasn't going to jump in and be like, you guys are stupid and all that crap they do now. For dreads, you and the family, like, you guys gave me a chance to get my views out and hear your views to make me realize what I needed to. And now it doesn't happen that way. I definitely have seen the turn. It's very rare for anyone who believes it's a globe to get a fair shake at talking. So as far as I'm concerned, not very many people get to meet, hear, or anything that people who are either new to flat Earth or just have ideas in general. I mean, even when I thought it was a globe, everything besides for globe and flat, I wanted to talk about, but had nowhere to talk about. I know quite a few people that think it's a globe who I would let on my panel any day of the week to talk about any, other topics. But because of the time we're in, man, I don't know if I could trust you to be on my panel. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm doing what I'm doing with the videos because you guys gave me an opportunity when I didn't know it was flat yet. And it's almost like my way of showing appreciation to you guys and flat Earth in general.
We appreciate. We appreciate. I personally, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this, but I definitely appreciate all that you do, from the research to the videos, because you put in some mad work. You go hard,
and I enjoy it. None of it to me is work. I enjoy doing it, so I will continue to do it. And I appreciate the feedback. That means a lot. It means that I'm not doing it for nothing. Like I said though, anybody who I have not done, I don't even care if I've done one for you. If you have something coming up, you know a channel, you are a channel doing it. I enjoy doing it, like I said, and I want to get everyone's voice, everyone's channel out there, just out there. I may not have a million people watching it, but like I said, I enjoy doing it, and it's a few others that get to see it at least.
I was gonna ask, what is it like? What are you doing with them? Like, are you doing like collab videos of multiple people in one, like kind of?
Yeah.
Okay,
basically,
cool. Yeah,
if you want to throw it out, it's basically just promos for just smaller channels.
Yeah.
Where, like, Brother Sanchez, Dreads, a lot of YouTube channels, they get so many, not live stream views, so many views in general that YouTube will plaster them everywhere. You know what I'm saying? If you hit Flat Earth constantly, yeah, if you hit Flat Earth and you search on YouTube, most of those channels will come up. And to me, I'm not saying anything bad at all. I love Dreads. He's family. If it wasn't for him, if you're talking channels wise, I wouldn't be here. So I have everything to thank for him for that. But I don't believe that channels like mine, yours, Danny, even I Spy, Dre, they're not getting the shout outs that they need, but they also go through have the most topics that need to be talked about. Not like I said, not that those bigger channels aren't talking about them, but these channels are talking about the things that need to be talked about and deserve to have more ears hearing them. So like I said, I've already decided I was going to do yours, Danny. Like I said, the hard part is to be honest with you, I was going to do 3, 4 at a time. The videos do get too long.
Yeah.
So I downsized it to 2. I'm finding that even 2 can be long. I don't want to do solos unless requested. You know what I'm saying? So like Dre, if you said, hey man, I'm going to go live next Friday, I would love to do, a promo that it's going to happen for you. As of the project I'm doing, when I say the project I'm doing, I want to do at least a couple at a time, because there are so many people that I know on YouTube that I want to get out there. I'm not doing it on a favoritism or anything like that. It's kind of just as I'm editing things or I come across things, it just happens. So if I haven't done yours yet, it does not mean I have not thought about it. Does not mean I don't want to. I'm just trying to find time to do it. It does take a lot of time, but I enjoy doing it, so it is not a job or a problem. I just love doing it. I don't know what else to say about it. I would love to do these things for the bigger channels as well. The only thing for me is like I said, there's so many of you guys that I feel should be popped up in that same search engine as the big channels that aren't. And that's kind of the thing that kind of made me want to start doing it. So like I said, Dre, anything you need, man, I'll help you out with when it comes to that stuff. I love doing it. And you're one of those people I'm talking about where I feel more people should hear what you have to say.
I appreciate that, brother. Definitely.
And like Candy, she's in the chat. Yeah, like I actually wanted to do one on Karen. I heard a couple of her streams and I thought they were awesome. And I've heard she had a lot of good to say. So stuff like that, yeah, exactly. There is one thing I want to tell everybody though. because I've gotten a couple of emails to do certain channels. There are channels I won't do. There are channels that are so far from my, not even my ideas. There's stuff I just can't promote. There's stuff that is said that I won't promote. I'm not going to say any names or who. There was a channel who does have a lot of good stuff to say. The problem is that I would say 80% of their viewers and their philosophy behind a lot of stuff is racist. They don't do the nigger stuff. They don't say that stuff, but I know what I know. I can tell. I can look at their audience. Everything. I can tell where their brain set comes from. I will not do that channel. It's a channel I go to. I listen to it. I've even been on their panels. They are actually pretty cool people, but their backing, their basis of thought, it comes from a racist background. I will not. So understand that. If you are a channel that may have a lot of good information, but maybe you believe your race should be the only one around, you may not say it, but believe it. I'm not going to do your channel. I'm sorry, but I do have to have some kind of boundaries. Luckily, there are maybe only 2 or 3 channels that I know of that are like that, and they can do whatever they want for themselves. But I wanted to put that out there. But like I said, anybody, if you there are at least 2 or 3 uploads on both my channels, Sean G and this channel, that you can go to that have the email that I would prefer you send the request to. But just understand, even if you haven't given me a request out there and I know you, I've talked to you, I've been on your panels or you've been on mine, you most likely will have a little promo for you. I don't have any other way of saying anything about it else to say about it, except for I enjoy it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And with that, I think we've kind of run the gamut of talking about that and then everything else. I'm tired. I know you're tired as shit, Dre.
I had to ask Dre something right quick. Did you write?
Say again?
Has Dre wrote anything in the chat so I can sub to his channel?
Who?
Dre.
What did you say?
No, I can go to here we go. Go to my Sean G channel. I changed the thumbnail on there, so you'll see Dre's name on there, and it's in the description. Which is the other thing. When I do these promos, if you look in the description, if you're not subbed to these people, look in the description. I will put all their channels in that description. If not, just look for Dre MIDAS, man. I mean, there's not too many of them.
I was going to say, I can get the link real quick.
That would help too.
See, you know what it is, man? I ain't going to front. As much as I would.
Oh, there it is.
Like to.
I'm going to put it in the side chat. I'm sorry, Dre.
I'm just not the kind that like promotes myself. You know what I mean? I just never have. You know, like I don't mind being incognito and flying under the radar type deal.
And that's it. And I know I completely understand what you're saying, because even if you see any of my Sean G or Frontline stuff in any of these promos, and you'll notice that they're not in the first one, but they kind of, as I went on, I had to be convinced by somebody to stop doing that and put my stuff in there as well.
Yeah, even though I know it's not really being egotistical or something like that, to me it just kind of seems a little narcissistic to go around plastering my link everywhere, talking about, you know what I mean? Like I've done it a couple times, you know, but I don't know. I'm just.
No, I know. I get 100% what you're saying. It's hard for me to, or that was actually one of the reasons I even started doing it, was because I like to do the editing thing, but I was like, man, you can't just do edits of yourself and post them. Like, it seems kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, see, I'm loving the editing as much as it's like time consuming and whatever else, but it's fun. And then, you know, when you get done, it's a good feeling, you know, to see something that you put together from scratch. So
Yeah. I think the only downside to editing is I enjoy the F out of them, right? But I upload them and then I go watch them and I go,
And you
they
miss
don't
them.
look the same.
I could do better than that.
Oh,
I could do better than that. I could definitely do better. You have no idea. I want to take. There's at least one or two that I want to take down immediately and start over. I feel they're pretty good.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. Obviously, they're going to get much better as I either learn different editing techniques and I find better tools for it. So there may be uploads that I do have that may be taken down and I may redo. That's because I like doing them.
I can tell you right now, I'm going to do a remix of that video that I put up too. Like my daughter gave me a crash course on some stuff to do, and I was like, damn, I wish I knew this before. So, yeah,
Exactly.
She told me this, so,
Yeah, like
I did hijack her computer.
Yeah, because there's a technique of editing that I just recently learned. What I was doing before is I'd edit everything into one. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, he said, stop doing that. He said, especially if you're doing multiple, yeah, he said, if you're doing different people, different topics or something like that, he said, download them and then put those together with the other pieces. Because what it does is it makes this, like for instance how I do it with the two people right now, it makes yours flow better than if I just try to make the whole thing flow at once. That makes sense? It basically makes it so it basically means two channels. I don't have to make two channels work together. I can make each channel work for itself with having multiple ones. It was just a cool thing he was talking to me about. I thought it was pretty cool that he tipped me in on. But like I was saying, Danny, do you have anything to promote? Because I'm done.
Actually, the other day, not the other day, it was like a week or so ago. I was trying to get you in a hangout. I think he was busy or something. My boy was over, the one I was telling you about with the music. He was talk about the video and everything. So we just set a day up for that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the past 3 weeks of my life has been so insanely hectic on a personal level, so I can't really go on through a lot of it on the stream. But yeah, we'll get together. We'll talk about it. I've known you a while. I'll let you know what's going on, Danny. So it's not a mystery to you.
No,
Ray, I talked to you about it already, so I don't have to repeat myself to you. If you are in the live stream and you don't know, too bad. That's why it's called personal.
To promote your channel is when you can go Barry White on that shit like this.
Oh, jeez. Hey Danny, yeah. I just want to let you know something. Me and Dre, we don't need programs to do that, my friend.
I can't get that. I can't just get. I'm gonna try. Right?
We just let the ladies
try to get as low as I can get.
When it's time to let them know.
When it's time. Wait, when it's time to let them know. That's the low as I can get. Dre earlier.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
He was low as that thing.
They were talking about in the chat right now. Facebook. I'm not a Facebooker. I'm not sure if anyone's realized that or not. I think I honestly think Candy. I think she's probably the only person I actually have talked to back and forth on Facebook. I don't. It's kind of a. I don't know. I think I may make another Facebook page that interacts and promotes a lot of this stuff too. But I've never used my Facebook as anything like that, as a promotion for this or anything like that. So
I don't even use mine at all.
But I do know, like it because I didn't realize it. Apparently, Facebook has a bigger flat Earth following than YouTube does, and I have no clue.
Really?
I still don't see it, but that's what I heard.
You know what's crazy about that? Like, people won't touch flat Earth on my Facebook page with a 10-foot pole. Like seriously, when I first started posting on my Facebook about flat Earth, there was like maybe 2 or 3 people that had a couple of questions, and I pretty much shut them down. Ain't heard a peep since. I'm like, man.
Now you can get to my YouTube stuff through my Facebook, but I ain't gonna lie, I just don't think I'm ready to plaster flat Earth on my page like that.
Join one of the flat Earth pages.
All my stuff is public. I mean, it's not like anyone I've had friends with before couldn't find it. I'm pretty sure anyone who's friends with me on Facebook kind of understands what I use Facebook for now. It's a little different for me. It's not somewhere where I hang out or really talk about stuff like that. It's kind of right now a different type of platform for me when it comes to posting and stuff like that. I don't really want to go into it, but I think I may make another page or something to get more out there, I guess I would say.
Facebook is zombie land.
And that's the other thing. You will get stuck reading and pushing buttons on Facebook. That's why I never really was on Facebook like that.
That's the only social media I have other than YouTube. I just never got into the social media thing, so that's why I don't have Instagram. I don't have none of that shit. Just Facebook and YouTube.
Candy, because Candy says she tagged. If you guys know me on Facebook, I'm proud of being a flat earther. I'm not. You can tag me. You can post on my wall. I don't care about that stuff. I personally just don't go on and do that kind of stuff. But I mean, yeah, tag me. I don't mind at all. I'm not ashamed of being a flat earther. Not at all. I just don't like Dread. I just don't go on Facebook and use it like that. But yeah, tag me. I don't mind at all. Not even a little bit. We're still dragging this on. I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm taking my blind days to bed.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, after I'm sorry, real quick. After about like maybe 11:30 or so, I should be free because after I do my road assessment, I'm pretty much.
Well, I'll be at work tomorrow, and I won't be home until I won't probably get home until 5, 6 my time.
Oh yeah, shit, we'd be good then by then.
So, yeah, okay, cool. So like I said, I was saying, I won't be live streaming early anymore because of that. If I do decide to up my phone plan, I may live stream from my phone, which I actually hate doing because it's on my phone and I hate it. But my streams will be probably later. And if I'm not live streaming very often, it's probably because I'm editing some stuff. So I'm still around. One thing I do need to start doing more is I need to get on panels more because I used to be on panels all the time. And,
all the time. Now you never come around.
Because what happens is I think it was yesterday. I think or the day before yesterday, one of those 2 days, you sent me an invite, but I was in the middle of editing and uploading, and I'm pretty sure you do some editing, so you understand. Once you're in an edit, it's kind of hard to walk away from it or put it aside for a minute.
Yeah. Why do you think I was under a rock for a week?
But yeah, exactly. So it was like last night, yesterday and last night, I was working on and I was up until insane this morning redoing one I was working on, and I didn't want to stop until I got to a point, and that's why this morning's live stream just went. I literally had it scheduled at, I'd say 7:30ish, 8 o'clock. I went, no, I'm not doing that. I deleted it and laid down and passed out for the whole day. So, like I said, I'm still around. I need to panel more. I think paneling more makes you want to live stream more. And I don't know why I stopped paneling so much. I enjoy it. I need to. So you guys will see me definitely on more panels because I need to. Period. Dre, you kind of talked about just live streaming, so we'll talk about that later on. But if you guys haven't on the chat and hearing this, subscribe to Dre because the man's got so much goddamn knowledge, it's ridiculous. And he will be live streaming soon, I hope. If you guys have not, Danny, I don't know how much you want to promote your channel. You do, right?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about make a little smaller videos so that you can actually not have to go through so much trying to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like 30, 45-minute ones. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Or you could even edit some of the longer
edit some of them
ones.
myself. Yeah, and cut parts out and
chop them up. There you go.
Yeah, put them into parts.
Yeah.
Doing it like 15 or 20-minute increments. If you got like a 2 or 3 hour joint, do about 6 or 7, 8, however many clips, 15, 20 minutes. Yep. Chop them up like that.
Yeah, chop them up by my bad.
Trey, you made a
chop
song?
them up by like topics and stuff. Oh man, yeah. Oh,
what?
Oh, I'll play us out. I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna do my outro. His video game.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. I want to hear.
Wait. Yeah, I gotta say this because I'm just little anal about things, particularly timing, and it killed me because I did this video and the timing was on point like a motherfucker. Yeah. And as soon as I uploaded it and looked at it, the fucking timing was off, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was
like on the visuals, like is it visuals or just like rapping?
Nah, it's a song, it's a video,
the whole
music,
thing? Oh, shit.
The whole thing is completely original.
Oh yeah.
It's legit.
We need to collaborate here and do something, make a beat, and you get up on a track.
All right, I'm about to play it right now.
Yeah, hook it up.
Flat motherfucking power.
So, like I said, subscribe to Danny Rosario. I said that right?
Rosado.
Whatever. Fucking ethnic people. I don't know. Because I can't roll my tongue or anything, so I gotta add to it. It's kind of like when Danny makes the voice. Exactly. Subscribe to Trey MIDAS because I've said it enough.
My wife is Latin. I can get that off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, not me. I've never had to. I was like, I'm good. I'll say it like I say it.
Sure, crank it up and listen to it.
So yeah, like I said, thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna play Dre's video out, and then I will talk to you guys some other time. I'm done talking. I'm tired. You know how I roll. Peace the fuck out. We'll go ahead and start this up right now. Again, thanks, Dre, and I'll talk to you a little bit later on.
All right, thank you, brother. Take care.
Thank you. Yep.
And here we go.
Black power on that edge, two tags and body bags. Black power on that edge, two tags and body bags. Flat power, 5 for that ass. Yo, you hear that? Bubble gangs with the GP. Flat power, Black Panthers. Picture me rolling up all the swag, flat power on that ass, tags and body bag. Unbelievers, we screaming the truth. No plane is flat, we got hell of a proof. Try and disprove the spherical answers. The answer to the rap and unified fact panthers. All we fucking do is bring the facts. Example, undisturbed waters always flat. Example, southern pools are raining fat. Close oceans, boy, something wrong with that. Told your ass once, I'ma say it again, motherfucker. Surface of water, don't bathe. Call me Madonna, make it good with a do. I made it do with a kid, bro, so that's what it do. Gravitations, masturbation, that water. I guess that's why it all do. The point in running, you sure can't hide. Might as well sit back and enjoy the ride. This flat, hot as vibe. Wouldn't be surprised, no, there's the curbside. What would you do if the world was flat and these cowards conspire to hold us back? Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, 5 for that ass. What does it take to realize this world is not a sphere? Ain't no motherfucking ballers here. Flat power, toe tags and body bags. Flat power, 5 for that ass. What would you do if the world was flat and these cowards conspire to hold us back? Flat power, toe tags tags and body bags, flat power, fight for that ass. What does it take to realize this world is not a sphere? Ain't no motherfucking ballers here. Flat power, toe tags and body bags, flat power, fight for that ass. Flat power on that, toe tags and body bags. Flat power on that, toe tags and body bags, flat power, fight for that ass.
So thank you guys again for stopping by. Like I said, I will, if you guys can go check out a couple of my uploads with Dre in it. His link is there. His link is in the chat. I will put his link in the description after this in a little bit. Other news, and I will do a video on this. I am going to plan a meetup for SoCal probably at the beginning of 2018. Have not decided exact dates, have not decided exact location yet, but it is in the works. So if you're interested in that, or you have some ideas of helping out, email me. I don't care where you email me. I got like 10 channels you can do that at. But yeah, that is definitely in the works, and I will give you guys more information as the days come through. But yeah, I have not been to a damn meetup yet, and it is time that I do. So decided I'm going to make one. So that will be soon. Again, thank you guys for stopping by. Love you all. Peace.